Welcome back to r/LegalAdvice, where people ask questions, get advice, and we get satisfaction. If you are new around here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, New York Landlords Complaining About Heat. I currently live in the basement of a house and my landlords live upstairs. They pay for the heat. When I moved in, they said to keep the heat below 63 and to turn it off completely when I leave for the day. I said no, I will keep it on low, but I am not turning it off. They keep their heat off or extremely low to the point that they wear jackets inside. I have never seen the heat go above 61, no matter what I have set it as. My bedroom was 42 degrees last night, I had a sweater and 3 comforters. It is generally around 45 to 50. They came into my apartment for the 4th time unannounced since I moved in last month because a pipe froze. No crap. They saw my heat was at 63 and told me it was too high and they put it down to 57. Am I the insane one when usually the heat is kept around 68 during the day and 60 at night? And a user in the comments said, you should advise your landlord that New York state law and local statutes require that they keep the heat around 64 or higher at night. Being vague because county statutes, but they are all in this neighborhood of 64 to 65. You should get a thermometer and log incidents, date, time, temperature inside when the heat drops significantly below that. That log will help you if the matter goes to court. If your landlord wants to freeze himself to death to save money, that is his business, but he cannot make you suffer too. Also, 42 degrees inside is way too cold. The minimum temperature for a refrigerator is 45 Fahrenheit. Get a space heater for your room before you wake up with frozen fingers and toes. And guys, feel free to let us know in the comments what sort of temperature do you prefer in your apartment. Would you be fine with OP's situation? Let us know in the comments. Update: New York landlords complaining about heat. My landlords came in without any notice while I was at work again and the heat was at 50. Usually they text me after the fact, but they didn't this time. When I get home, he was waiting for me outside with a list of things. Number 1, he said I am the cause of the pipe freeze because the heat in my apartment at 65 degrees routed the heat out of the first floor and caused the pipes to freeze on the other side of the house. I brought up the law and he didn't care. Number 2, because of my utility usage, my rent is now increased by $150 a month permanently. Number 3, he gave me a box of cleaning products because I need to try to be a cleaner tenant. For what it's worth, I clean every weekend, but they keep coming in when I haven't cleaned up in a day or so. So this has gone from maybe they just don't understand the law to these people are not only stupid but pretty crazy and I need to move out. I am in a month-to-month lease and need to give 30 days notice. Additionally, I already paid last month's rent. Is my only recourse to stick it out until the end of February? Update: I spoke to them tonight regarding the law and they went back on everything except the rent increase. They said I can keep it at 68, they won't come in anymore, etc. At the end of the day, this place is a hazard and I know that it is probably unsafe for me and others, but I'm so bad at confrontation that I just said okay. I know I should move out and do everything I said though. They said it was all just a big misunderstanding. They just wanted it that low when I was out of the house and I can keep it at 68, but the reason the pipes froze was because I had it at 70. But they kept saying how I am a perfect tenant and they don't want things to be uncomfortable and we are friends, and it got into my head. It made them more personable and harder to pull the plug. As my friend says, it will be easy to pull the plug when I burn in this fire hazard or lose all my crap to a burst pipe. And guys, I don't know about you, maybe I'm alone here, but honestly I did not really understand why the pipes froze because the OP had the temperature too high. Unless the house is really crappily built and like super old, I don't see how that is possible. Also, I gotta say, it seems like the landlords really got into OP's head because I think OP should move out of there ASAP. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. And in addition guys, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and also turn on bell notifications so you don't miss any of my uploads. This is especially important because YouTube frequently forgets to inform my subscribers about new videos. Thank you so much in advance, and also please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments. Thank you so much in advance. The next one is gonna be pretty crazy. It is titled, "My nurse stuck herself with a needle she used on me. They said I have to get a blood test done within 48 hours or I will be arrested. Need to know my rights in this situation." Hey Reddit, I am a 22-year-old living in South Carolina who was receiving allergy test shots on Friday, the 12th at 10:30 a.m. At that time, the nurse who was administering the shots accidentally poked herself with the needle and reported it to her supervisor. At about 11 a.m, an office administrator informed me that I had 48 hours to take a blood test provided by them at a different location 30 minutes away from me. I was given a paper stating that they would provide the test for free. Unfortunately, I didn't see that the sheet said that this authorization expires on 13 January 2018. I had shadowing and a job interview lined up for the rest of Friday and Saturday, so I haven't gone yet, but I'm still within the 48-hour window. I am worried that they won't accept the authorization they gave me and the window closes before I can get the blood test. The office administrator who told me all of this implied that I would be arrested after 48 hours. I know that I don't have any blood-borne pathogens because I've been tested twice within the last 7 months with no exposure after the last test. I know I messed up, not just moving my schedule around to get the test done, but I assumed I could get it done before the window closed, and now I am worried I could get in legal trouble if they don't accept my authorization tomorrow morning and I cannot get my blood tested in time. Can they legally withhold the free blood test if the authorization expires but the 48 hours haven't passed? I know this is a very specific question, but I am really scared about the legal/financial ramifications if they don't accept the expired authorizations. Thanks for any legal help you can provide. Edit/update, thanks for all of the responses and help everyone. I don't exactly have a lawyer on retainer, so all your help is greatly appreciated. It turns out that the authorizations for the tests were not accepted because of the date it was set to expire, but I was able to get in contact with a doctor who was on call for the office who gave a verbal authorization for the tests. My major reason for concern was that I would have to pay for the tests, which were about $600. I was afraid that if I paid for them, I would not get reimbursed. I hope now that the nurse does not have to take those prophylactic drugs referenced in the comments now that the tests are done. Thank you all again for your help and advice. And guys, the people in the comments gave the following advice in case you are interested. They said their main goal here is to quickly determine whether the nurse is in danger, hence the urgency of going as quickly as possible. I would be very surprised if they wouldn't give you the test a day later for free if you inform them of the situation. You didn't do anything wrong, you are trying to help, etc. And another person said, not a lawyer, but a nurse. The reason for the 48-hour deadline is more for the protection of the nurse. If you were positive, they are testing a few different things, but the biggest concern is HIV, there's a small window for prophylactic medications, hence the 48 hours. If you were considered high risk, she would have already started the medications. You won't be arrested if they implied that it was more to emphasize how important it is to get it done. If you don't go in, she will have to start the course of prophylaxis and need follow-up, of which can take upwards of 8 months or so. Or you can arrive a day late, prove you are negative and make her life a lot easier. Don't sweat it, legally you should be okay, but ethically speaking, please get in to be checked as soon as possible and please communicate this to whomever is overseeing this process. And by the way guys, I'm curious, when was the last time that you have donated blood? I think for me the last time I donated was around 1.5 years ago, but I gotta say, I think in the past in Germany they gave you around maybe 40 to 50 bucks for donating blood, but nowadays they only give you some candy. And obviously giving candy does not really motivate most of the people going there. Then again, I think I did it for a driving license test or something like that. And the next one is titled, "Someone stole my wife's mail with credit card and spent $1,500 yesterday." My wife replaced her credit card with a new one and the bank said it was shipped out on 20th November to be delivered in 3 to 5 business days. The card was never delivered and she noticed strange charges yesterday and got a text that they stopped a suspicious charge. She checked her account and saw $1,500 in pending charges at 3 different department stores which are 3 to 5 miles away from our house. I enrolled USPS Informed Delivery and found the unmarked envelope was supposed to be delivered on 24th November. She never received that mail, but we got 4 other mails that day. I was home working on the front garden on 24th November and saw the mailman deliver the mail. I took it in 10 to 20 minutes, so no one could have stolen the mail from the mailbox and it was probably done internally. The bank is investigating and they are reversing the charges. I told my wife to report it to the post office. Should we file a police report too? Anything else we should do? Will they be able to catch the suspect easily with cameras since all the charges were within 1 day at the mall? And a user in the comments suggested, file a police report and wait, and another person said, ever think that the postal employee who called was not a postal inspector because it was the person who actually stole the card? They are trying to cover their own butt. I would call a postal inspector directly. And guys, I'm curious, have you ever had any issues with getting your credit card stolen? I gotta say, thankfully, even though I travel quite a lot, that has never happened to me. However, it apparently happened to my brother before when he visited his girlfriend in the United States. Let us know about your unfortunate experiences in the comments. Update: New York, someone stole my wife's mail with credit card and spent $1,500 yesterday. My wife submitted mail theft claim and someone at the post office called her. It was not an investigator. The staff told her that someone in the bank stole the card. My wife said that is not possible since my envelope was shown in informed delivery. The post office suggested we cancel the card and that was it. I don't even know if the USPIS will look at her claim. She did get a claim. She received a new card from the bank sent overnight via UPS and it was exactly the same unmarked envelope. I looked through my security camera and saw the mailman and I opening the mailbox. Is there anything else we can do? I told her to file a police report, but she hasn't done so. She thinks the post office is protecting their employees and the officers will do the same. I said no. Do we wait? And guys, to me that all sounds pretty strange if you ask me. That sounds like some sort of conspiracy. So what would you have done in this situation? Let us know in the comments. And the next one is titled, Final Update to the Wife Credit Card Story. I saw a whole bunch of news vans around my local post office. I looked up what happened and they caught the person who stole more than 30 credit cards. He was a mail carrier and was stealing cards for 8 months. He had 6 random credit cards on him when he was arrested. His wife, New York Police Department safety officer, was in this as well. I told my wife to call the district attorney and tell her story. Up to 15 years for him and 7 years for her if convicted. Glad they are gone from my local post office. Thanks for the resources to contact the postal inspectors. I'm sure other residents have done the same, which led to his arrest. Edits: news articles increased the credit cards he had. The worker activated the cards by going through the dark web and spent bitcoins to get information on the credit card holder. And the next one is titled, Risks of taking my old landlords to small claims court over my security deposit. What potential risks do I have for taking my old landlords to small claims court? Location is Springfield, Illinois. Deposit amount $350. I moved out of my apartment complex on June 30th, 2017. What risks do I run for taking them to court? If I lose, will I have to pay their legal fees or anything like that? I understand this might be a case of I say I never got the letter, they say I did. The full story: a month before our lease ended, we moved all of our belongings to our new house and cleaned/repaired any obvious damages done to the apartment. We then requested a pre-inspection of the unit so we could fix any potential issues that may arise. They came and told us of a few issues, replacing door trim and painting. We spent the next day fixing said issues and requested the inspectors back to look things over. They said everything looked good and we would probably get our full deposit back. I then handed over the keys the next day and went on my way. A few weeks went by and I didn't hear anything from them about my deposit, so I called the leasing office. I was told the official inspector had not had a chance to look over the unit and I would hear from them if any problems came up. Another week went by and I called back with the same answer. After 30 days, I called and asked them if there was any problems and they told me over the phone that they still didn't have anything for me on the inspection and that they had 45 days to submit the inspection and 45 days to mail out the deposit. At this point I assumed all was well and they were taking their sweet time about getting my money back. I never heard anything from them for several months. A week ago, September 19th, 2017, I called to ask what happened and was told the inspector was out of the office and they took my number down so she would call me back ASAP. Today, September 26, 2017, I got a voicemail from the inspector saying I would not be getting my deposit back due to damages from a broken window and other damages she did not go into. When I called back to ask about it, they claimed there was no notes about the damage to the window, so I would be held responsible and all staff, office and maintenance members I spoke with about my previous inspections have been hence fired. They also claim they sent a non-certified letter of damages and costs to me within the appropriate time at my new address. I have never received this letter. A note about this window: last fall we had a bad storm which broke the window from hard winds. It was a really old window. I called the maintenance people the next morning and they told me that they wouldn't be able to get the window company out until the next spring. However, we would not be charged for the damages because it was not our fault. So we wrapped it up and put blinds over it and let it be. I verified with the leasing office that I wouldn't be charged and they claimed the note was left stating that. Now, it seems that note has been deleted and all staff members who would be involved in my apartment have been fired, so I cannot contact them. And the next one is an update to the landlord's small claims story. I won my case. The judge asked the defendant if they could testify if any staff members sent out a list of damages from the apartment to my new address. But nobody could, so the judge ruled in my favor. I didn't have to say a goddamn word, just showed up and won. So I am getting my full deposit back plus court filing fees. This one is titled, "A woman opened a credit card in my name at K Jewelers and purchased a $6,000 bracelet." As the title says, a woman walked into K Jewelers, opened a K Jewelers credit card in my name and immediately purchased a $6,000 bracelet. The facts? It happened in a state that I don't live in and have not been to in over 6 months. Second, she apparently had a driver's license that had her picture and my name on it. She knew my social security number and used that to open the card. The store has a picture of this woman from their security cameras. How I found out about it? Someone from the store called me 10 days ago and left a voicemail thanking me for the purchase. I tried to call back and they did not answer. Obviously, I should have tried hard to get in touch with them, but I did not think much about it at the time as I get tons of spam calls all the time. The receipt of the purchase as well as the card finally get delivered to my house, letting me know the whole situation. What I have done so far, I have called the store and finally got in touch with someone that told me that they are incredibly sorry and that I will not be on the hook to pay off this card. Not sure how much I believe that, as I'm sure they have already solved my debt. I have tried to get in touch with the credit card company from K Jewelers to let them know it was not me that opened this or purchased the bracelet. Will try again tomorrow as I believe it is past hours. Also, I called Equifax to try to place a fraud alert on my name and social, and they tried to sell me some subscription program to prevent future fraud. When I told the lady that I would like to solve this first before I purchase anything else, she let me know that they did not have enough information to verify my identity, so I will be calling TransUnion, then Experian next if I have to. I plan on filing a police report through my local police station tomorrow during the hours they are able to file the report. Is there anything else that I am missing? I want to make sure that I'm not going to have to pay for this purchase, as well as make sure it does not happen again. Edit, I just realized that I have a Credit Karma account and they asked if the purchase was me this morning. I have disputed this as fraudulent and they have submitted the report to TransUnion. Update number 1, Tuesday morning I got in touch with someone at Comenity Bank, the bank that issues the credit cards for K Jewelers, and they were actually extremely helpful. They said that they would be opening a fraud investigation into this and no interest would be accrued in this time. Once this is confirmed fraud, they will let the credit bureau know and my credit score will go back up. I requested a physical letter stating that they have opened this report and she said they can send one to my address. A person in the comments said, freeze your credit, don't just put an alert on it. Another person suggested, file a police report for identity theft showing the officer the information you have. You can usually call and have a patrolman stop by to take your statement. It costs money to get a copy of the police report, so just take down the police report number and provide it to any and all involved companies. They will get the report for free and will sometimes provide a copy, although you don't really need it. Once you do this and provide the police report number, the companies act completely different. Freeze your credit on all 3 bureaus and only unlock temporarily when you need to. Also file the information with the credit report, who will remove the credit card information from your records. They will likely point you to a specific government website created to file identity theft cases. The same thing happened to us, so good luck. And once again guys, I did some investigative digging and apparently, according to the OP, this was later on confirmed to be fraud and the person who did this was actually caught. And guys, I'm curious, has anyone ever tried to steal your identity? To open something like a credit card and buy something in your name? Let us know in the comments. And the next one is titled, Just Got Out of Prison and Owe So Much Money. I went to college and graduated, but went to prison soon after, about 18 months ago. I just got out on parole and I'm looking at the aftermath of my finances. I'm getting so many letters and calls from so many different companies, I don't know where to even begin. I know I had 3 credit cards, 2 from Wells Fargo and 1 from Capital One. Apparently Capital One sold off my debt a while back, but Wells Fargo still has mine. Student loans are all over the place. I know I took out some personal loans through Discover, but I'm lost as who are all the companies, or just one company, that holds all my regular student debt from the university. I know at some point my loans started coming through another federal company because of some changes in the law, but I am completely lost. I just got a big old pink letter saying my student loans are about to default. While I was in prison, some student loan company found me and sent me a letter and I was able to defer it for a year, but that time has passed a few months ago. Right now, I am jobless and I am crashing at a friend's house, but I am aware of how serious a student loan default is. This is all beyond what I'm mentally capable of handling right now. I just went through a stockpile of letters that were saved in the past year and I am too overwhelmed to even know what to do first. What can I even do? Even if I had some crappy job, I'm engineering by education, my first concern is a roof over my head and food. I don't even know what to tell these people when I figure out the mess of who the hell I actually owe and what. Please help me. I stayed out of trouble in prison and continued studying, and I tried to study programming to maybe get a web development job on the side. I want to do the right thing and get out of this endless black hole. Edit, I spent the last hour reading through every comment here and I think getting a free credit report to see who I owe, since I have not really had an address or phone, would be a good first step. I should have said my debt is mainly student loans, 80k public, 20k private, best guess. And my credit card debt is about 6 to 7k, so I am really iffy about declaring bankruptcy, but I will at least talk to a lawyer and learn more about the best route to take. Lastly, I got a lot of positive PMs and comments, and even that small boost from a message from an internet stranger gives me hope when I let something like this bring me down. I hope one day I can post an update saying I got a great job, beat the statistics, and give hope to other felons who are trying to do the right thing. It was definitely a life-changing experience and has changed my views about the prison system in general. Thank you very much. A user in the comments said, forget about the bills, I don't say that often, but your first priority is getting stable employment, shelter, food and lights. The accounts are in collection already, many of which have been discharged. Your credit is likely poor already. There's no sense in stressing about this at this point in time. It will only hinder you. Another person said, 100% get a job and roof over your head. Without those, there's literally 0 point in worrying about whether this cover will get paid or not. They can wait. The most important thing is getting your life back in order and getting back into normal life so you don't end up back in prison. Good luck, OP. And the next one is an update to the prison story. It has been a year since I got out of prison and thought about updating for a few months, but wanted everything to be absolutely settled before I did. I ended up moving to a more tech-friendly city and the job search was still rough. I actually got a job offer 2 weeks after moving and was so excited to start. They asked about my background and I was totally honest with them. After some discussion, they still wanted to hire me, but then a few days later I got a call saying HR would not allow it. I was pretty beat up. Over the next few months I got a few interviews and even job offers, but anytime the background check came up, I was denied. The only thing worse than not having a job is knowing you have the skills to get hired, but something like this holds you back. I'm not going to lie and say it was easy. I broke down some nights but picked myself back up the next day and put out my application again. I worked at a restaurant to make some kind of money and it was rough. I was coming home with $10 sometimes and wondered if this was really going to be my life. I continued to get calls from debt collectors but ignored them every time. In the end of September, I was having a particularly rough week, making no money at work, serving tables, and had a job interview lined up. I did not really have much hope for this job, but figured, screw it. Later that day, they told me I had the job, but at that point it did not even bring me excitement, as I have heard that line before. I did the usual background check and waited for the fatal call. A call came that Friday and was told I was to start on Wednesday of next week. I was confused and in disbelief. Every day for a few weeks I expected someone to call me or pull me to the site work and tell me there's been a mistake. For the first 3 months I never even brung anything to put on my desk because I figured it was any moment now. I worked there making more in 1 week sitting at a desk doing what I love to do than I was busting my butt for an entire month at a restaurant. Finally, one day in January I was pulled to the site. The hiring manager asked me to see him in his office and he had a pretty serious look on his face. He sat me down and told me I've been doing very well these past couple of months. My supervisors are impressed with how fast I've caught on and they decided to give me promotion. I was blown away, so here I was 4 months into a job and I was offered a promotion with a great raise. I still work hard every day there, I study up and learn more and try to improve myself with programming every day. I look back at those few months where I was job searching and know that I made it as far as I did because even on days I was so depressed I did not even want to get out of bed, I still got up and tried. What else could I do? I still worry about the future, but for now I want to work here for a while, getting as much experience and time behind me so my criminal history will pale in comparison to my skills and drive to succeed. I've even managed to get a pretty good girlfriend who knows all about my past and we've been dating for 5 months. She is supportive and is proud of how far I've gotten and how much I still do to make sure my past does not define me. I've helped a number of people start on their programming career and have even given presentations for newcomers. Have I gotten some backlash? Yes, but screw those people. As for my loans, I have saved up an emergency fund for 6 months and as of 2 weeks ago I paid the last bit I owe on my credit card. I still have a mountain of student debt, but I pay it off bit by bit. I don't get any more calls about money I owe and well, life is alright. I hope anyone who is in a similar situation as me can look at this and know someone in the same boat as you has made it through and succeeded. The next one is titled USPS lost our money order, landlord tells us we have to write a new check by Monday, really need advice. Sorry if this is not the right place to post, but we are pretty desperate. Like the title says, we went to USPS and got money orders to pay our rent, $2,300 for the month. Last Wednesday, the super comes by to inform that they have not received the money. After reaching back out to USPS, they inform us they lost the orders. The number on the receipt the original worker circled and said was tracking the number was actually the code for the online survey. We were informed of this by a different employee yesterday as she left, told us to get out of the line. Hey, what can you do? The landlord says he needs a check on Monday for $2,300, and while we have been securely making rent on time since we moved in a couple months ago, we cannot afford to spend another $767 each immediately after paying rent. That being said, I understand the landlord's issue completely. Man needs his money. I'm sure all of this makes me an idiot, but I would greatly appreciate any help or advice. Thanks a lot. Update: we have a receipt, but it only contains the individual payments alongside a serial number. This means my roommate did not steal it and the money was actually given to the bank, right? I entered the serial numbers into money order inquiry system and it did not recognize or have any information on them. A person in the comments said, this has happened to my wife and I before. Usually when you get a money order, there's a part you tear off and keep. If I remember correctly, my wife was able to take that in and get a refund from where we got it. Since the money order had not been cashed in yet, it just voided out the original money order. Good luck. And now an update to the USPS story. Well, thank God, the money orders showed up in our mail today with a note that says need to pay postage. I guess when my roommate went and did the orders, she did not think of that and could not remember that she had not done so, and for whatever reason had the excuse that the postal office was at fault. Regardless of all of this, I'm just so relieved that we, 1, have the money back, 2nd, I'm not entirely broke anymore, and 3rd, my roommate is not a thief. I'm going to take nearly everyone's simultaneous advice and never pay rent with money order ever again. From now on, I will pay with the super myself directly. If anyone's curious about how the interaction at USPS went this morning, I showed up with the pay stub and explained the situation and was told there was nothing they could do aside from wait up to 60 days to see if it had been cashed. Thank you all so much for the advice this stupid 18-year-old so desperately needed. And the last one is titled, My mom did not pay taxes, the state is going to take money from the joint account she opened for me when I was a minor that only I use. Can I do anything? I opened a bank account when I was 10. Because I was a minor, it was a joint account with my mom. That was the bank's rules. She has never ever used it herself, she even forgot it exists. Fast forward almost 20 years, I have never switched accounts because I've always been happy with my bank. This has been my primary checking and savings account. The fact that my mom was still on my account never really bothered me or crossed my mind because I did not know she had bad finances and because she never ever uses this account. For all practical purposes, it is mine. Well, today I just received a notice that about $2,500 in my account has been attached and will be remitted to the state tax board in 10 days. Turns out that my mom has not paid state taxes in 2 years and they have decided to take from this account. I had absolutely no notice of this. The notice I got came directly from my bank. My mom does not have the money to pay this. Other than not using this account anymore and opening an account in my name only, what else can I do? Too long didn't read, mom did not pay taxes and now the government is taking money from our joint account, which is really my account that she never ever uses and her name is only on it because it was opened when I was a minor. And a person in the comments said, this is actually a situation where you have some recourse to wit. Because minors in many situations cannot open bank accounts in their own names, the bank accounts list the parent's name even when the children are the owners of the funds deposited. A levy on such an account to collect a parent's tax liability would be a wrongful levy unless it can be shown that a federal tax lien encumbered the funds before they were deposited in the child's account. Edit, and while the above is specific to the federal government, most state laws align with federal laws in general. OP would need to determine the specific situation as regards their state. It could be different than this. Another person said, except for the part where OP is not a minor anymore. Money is joint. OP needs to pull out what money is his and open a new account or be satisfied with the money potentially being gone. And as an update, OP said, good news, I ended up calling the tax board several times and they were actually extremely helpful once I got a hold of a real live person. In the end, they had me fax them my information, a pay stub and 3 bank statements from the last 3 months, proving that I was the only one who used the account. Afterwards, they removed the order to levy my account. I have since withdrawn the money from that account and put it into my own account. Problem solved. Thank you for everyone's help and advice on this. Edit, for those who are wondering, my mom will be okay. I talked to her and convinced her to face her taxes rather than continue to put it off. She was very sorry. She started a payment plan June 1st with the tax board. Whether she follows it and stays with it is up to her. And guys, unfortunately we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.